Hey guys, Nick here.
What's going on, y'all? Zach here,
We're just two guys trying to make the world a better place.
and welcome to the Doors.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Doors. We are the developers of our own opportunities, reinforcing success. And I'm Nicholas Sternloff.
I am Zachary Otts,
Guys,
and let's open it.
it's time to open some doors today, y'all. It's time to open some doors today, y'all. It's been a hot second since we have brought you any content. And today, we're just going to bring you some life updates, talk to you guys, build some discussions off of what we're doing, and really just tell you what we've been doing to open doors in our own lives so you guys we can build discussion, we can talk about it, we can keep opening doors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Nick. You know, our last podcast we did was over the comfort zone, and I feel like you and I have gotten to a point where we've become really good at becoming uncomfortable, haven't we?
I guess you can say that. We're definitely outside of our comfort zone. Definitely.
Yep.
I mean,
So, Nick, what have you been doing, man? What have you been up to?
well, so lately, again, number one, I do not have a job at the moment, so I've been really making the most of developing myself and really just trying to focus on the things that I can to continue to better myself. And one of the great things is that luckily I have the financial backing to do it. And what I've been doing lately is I've been traveling and hanging out with friends. Luckily, I've had the chance to do that. And I've been to Florida a few times, and now I'm up in West Virginia visiting my grandfather. Luckily, I've been tested multiple times for COVID too, so don't have to worry about that. But it's been really great to make the most out of my opportunities and go do things while I can, because I think that's what life's about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're right, bro. It's 100% about the memories and the opportunities that we have, and especially with this coronavirus and stuff going around, man, it makes things very, very hard and very, very uncomfortable for people.
Well, people don't. The scary thing is you don't know people have it, and it affects our young and our old very differently than it affects some of our more healthy people, but as well as some of the people that are younger are getting hospitalized as well. So it's not something to play with. And luckily, I've the free tests going around. I got back my results in time to just be able to come spend some time with my grandpa, and I haven't seen him in a very long time. So I've been up here, and as you can see, these guitars in the background. This is a very small portion of his collection, and
Yes, sir.
I've been jamming out. I'm taking guitar lessons 2 times a week for the 3 weeks that I'm here. So, and I got I have my guitar teacher. His name's Freddie Modad. He is something else, guys. He's something else.
Well, guys, we'll have to get Nick at the end of his trip. We'll have to do a separate video and make Nick do a solo for y'all.
We'll see. You'll definitely see. What you been up to, man? How you been doing? Tell us all about it.
Man, so Nicholas and already know, because we talk about this periodically, pretty daily.
Yeah.
But so I started a new job. I went from working in an office as a CAD tech to moving back to my hometown, working as a carpenter apprentice. It's a trade that my dad's done for a very long time, and it's something I've always been interested in, but I've never really taken the step into it to get to learn. And with this coronavirus going on, I really wanted to find something where I could get outside and use my hands and build stuff for myself. And I came across a really great mentor. And he's been great. They've been teaching me the ropes. He's also a martial arts guy, so he tries to do the Mr. Miyagi kind of thing as we're learning. But it's been very interesting, man. Wax on, wax off.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I think that's a very interesting point because we talked about it consistently again. I mean, I feel like I'm very spiritual. He's very spiritual in the religious sense as well. And then we talked about it. One of the amazing things that really happens in life is Earl Nightingale, your rewards in life are in direct contributions or in direct proportion to your contributions. You say that one more time. Your results in life are in direct proportion to your contributions. And Zach's been working real hard, man. And he was stuck in a real crisis, a real heavy fork in the road. And luckily he's been working his ass off, and again, he's been putting his contributions in, and he's found his path, another pathway to go, which is fantastic.
You know, man, and I feel like one of my biggest things is we work a 9-to-5 job, and that's good, and it's good and all, but it was getting to a point where literally I was spending all my finances on my house, the upkeep on that, keeping my car in order, all these different things. And I sat down and I was just thinking, in order for me to be at the place I want to be in the next 5 years, I'm going to have to be saving money. I'm going to have to be getting to a point where I can develop my own trade. I need multiple sources of passive income somehow.
Yeah.
And I just put myself in a position with my other job, with this coronavirus going around, where I thought, where am I going to be in 5 years? I may be making a little bit more money, but ultimately, am I going to be happy doing this for the rest of my life?
And that's a fantastic point you make right there, because again, Earl Nightingale talks about it, is that we're people like us, the openers, people thinking about constantly opening doors in their life or making moves upon success, is that if you are doing any of that, you're 90%, you're 10% of the people, the top 10%. And Zach right here is thinking about the moves he's going to be making to continue to better his success in his own life, to continue to build himself up. And by doing that, he can make moves and be flexible like a flowing river when it needs to, when the door opens in his life and he needs to take that.
In the Tao Te Ching, and that's something that I've been reading, and Nicholas has been reading a little bit too. It says in one of the verses that are on down, you should be like the ocean. And if you notice, and I'll tell you what I mean by that in just a second. If you know that the lakes and the rivers, they all flow into the ocean because the ocean sits lower than lakes and rivers. And I thought about that really deep. I sat on it, I meditated on it, and I was just thinking, that's how I need to be right now. And Nicholas called me and he was like, bro, I feel like you're hibernating. I feel like you're waiting and you're hibernating on something and you're just getting ready to bust out. And, I kind of feel that way as well. But I had to dial back to, we talked to you guys about getting back to the basics. I had to dial back to a more simplistic way of living. What is more simplistic? I purchased a tiny home. I'm fixing that up. I'm living off pretty much the land, the environment, and it's one of those things where I've always said I would love to study with like the monks. I would love to go study with those people and kind of learn from them and how they do things. So I feel like I'm kind of stepping back to a more simplistic way of living.
Well, and that's quite true. And it's really interesting to see Zach, because I've known him for a very long time, and he's on his own journey, man, and he's doing some really interesting things. I think one of the things that you can take away too is like, I'm really lucky to be like, I think we're both in very lucky places where we can make moves upon our actions like this. And I think that it came from an absolute source of self-realization. And Zach told me the other day that he was going to stop meditating as much as he was, because sometimes looking too inward, forcing things doesn't help. But that's the same thing. Again, you can't just forcibly open and close the doors in your life. The best way to be, things happen in times and places. And I think we've both been lucky enough to self-actualize just enough to be at the point where like, wow, this is a great path to take and I can build myself off of it. Let's see where it takes us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and you get to a point, man, where, there's so much noise, especially right now. You guys, you're listening to the Pizzagate stuff. You got the COVID stuff going on, the election. There's all these different things going on. And one of the realizations I came to was just like, there's a time and place for everything. There's a time for me to be busting my ass. There's a time for me to be lazy. There's a time for me to be sad. There's a time for me to be super, super happy. There's times for all of these things, but ultimately there's a place for you in that. There's a reason for all these things that are happening to you. It may be preparing you for something. It may be a school that you have to get to. And, it's crazy, Nick. I was reading something the other day, and people ask God for things all the time. They ask him for strength. They ask him for courage.
Yeah.
They ask for patience and peace. He's not going to give you that per se, but he's going to give you obstacles and lessons in order for you to develop a skill. It's something I'm coming up with now. It's you're putting that tool in your toolbox,
Yeah. Well, I think that too is like, you have to sit back and realize what kind of life you want to live. And that's something hard to think about, because you try to live in the moment. You're trying to, again, we live in a monetary society, which means, again, we work to get money. We get money to make sure we're paying bills, to make sure we can eat, make sure we have the essentials to do our life. But what are the real essentials to your overall life? What are your dreams? What are your goals? And if you're putting time and effort into at least making moves upon those goals, I consider you a successful individual, even in the very slightest. Earl Nightingale has a quote. I put it, one second. It's on my phone. I just put it up on the doors page today because it's such a fantastic viewpoint to have. Earl Nightingale says, "The success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal."
Yes.
Guys,
Sir.
that means again, we talk about this journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. If you are even trying to make any progress in your goals, you're doing better than 90% of the population. You're doing great. You've already started. But now, again, is that, like we talked about, there's a time and place for everything, but you also have to be aware of the situations you're in so you can make things come true in your life. Like, I want to be closer to family. I'm visiting my grandpa right now. I want to take time to find out who I am. I might not be getting paid right now because I don't have a job. I'm not on unemployment either, but I don't have any of that. But I'm taking time to realize who I am, the things that I want to do. And it's really, really helped me. But that's my mental. There's so much you have to deal with as a human being. It's hard sometimes.
And dude, there's gonna be times too, like you said, man, where Nicholas and I are no different from everyone else. Like we have obstacles that come our way. Shit, probably honestly sometimes more, but it's how you react to them and it's how you deal with them.
Well,
And that's life right there.
it is. It is. And I mean, like, a good point to this is that me and Zach have the doors, right? We're the developers of our own opportunities, reinforcing success. We're building it into with the podcast already. We're building it into a brand. And what we have realized, again, is that if we're going to build this, we have to be patient and put effort towards it and be willing to fail. And we've had a lot going on. I've been vacationing and traveling and figuring out my life. He's been going through this. Zach, has it been easy trying to make sure that we can get the things done with the doors as well as keep up with all this?
It's, and that's the thing though, is it's been a little bit more difficult, but when you have a good support system, like me and Nicholas really do well with communicating with one another. And I think that can go a long way as to anyone, if you're running a business, whatever you're doing, as long as you're communicating with your team and you're making sure that y'all are staying on the same page and you have the vision behind it, you're going to be fine. And like Nick said, we're not scared to fail. If we fail, guess what? We're going to brush ourselves off. We're going to get the fuck right back up and do it again.
It's such a great viewpoint to have, though. I think that we got that kind of, I definitely got that from sports, that mentality of pushing harder to make sure that we're going to achieve our goals. Like gymnastics and cheerleading, you can't obtain a skill without consistent practice and the willingness to believe that you can do it. And that's really hard trait to understand if you've never had it. And even in a new scenario you put yourself in, you have to really be aware of the things. And again, like any mentor, anyone that you've ever seen in any business, any sport, anything you're going to tell you is, of course, talent matters. But if you put your attention and time towards something and understand that if you continue to fail and move further away from an impractical self, you're going to obtain the things that you want to. It may take time, but if you're patient, you can do it. And that's where the belief in me comes from, that I know I'm going to be successful. I have faith in myself. And this is something that's really interesting. Me and Zach talked about recently, is having faith in yourself. And that's disregard the religious side of things for a second. I think that a lot of people who are not religious, or a lot of people who are very religious, have different versions of faith. And having faith in yourself means, again, that you have the patience to know you'll succeed, to have the patience to know that you'll get through the struggles and strifes that you're in, as long as you consistently work towards it, putting
those actions towards it, like you said, Nick, doing the work. But people get caught up in, I don't know if this is the right decision, or this is okay, kind of right decision, but I'm not sure. Guys, go with your gut. Go with your gut feeling. this week I've talked to a lot of people about like intuition and, you know, what usually happens when you shy away from those gut feelings. There you go. There you go, right there. And if you have not read that book by Dr. Wayne Dyer, I recommend any of his works. This is Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. It's a really, really great book. It's his representation of the Tao Te Ching. It actually has multiple translations in there, so you will love it, I promise.
So what's interesting, sorry to interrupt you, Zach, one of the interesting things that he talks about, again, he's talking about people being indecisive and choosing their own path. Well, people always say when they're older, and he talks about it in this book, which is interesting, and I'll talk about it later what we're doing with that book, but he talks about that people are so indecisive when they get older, like, only if I made this decision. You wouldn't know, you can't understand that life. You can't understand that decision because it's non-existent anymore. You chose. And that's one of the things that as a society we have to understand is the duality of the things that we do. There's a choice, there's not a choice, and you can either do it or not, but you can't sit there and regret or put these thoughts in your head that it could be better, because look, if we're beings living in the present, and now you're a being that's stuck in the past, thinking about regretting a decision, regretting something, or looking to the future to try to avoid the situation you're in, you're a being that isn't living in the current time. And you can't solve any issues in the current time if you're a being living outside of that.
Yep. And what's so crazy about what you said, man, and there's a good, really great representation of this. So you're on a boat, right? The boat's heading forward. You got your mind set. You're looking forward. You know, what comes behind that boat, Nick? That's the wake. The wake comes behind the boat. So you can't turn around and stare at the wake. Otherwise, you're going to miss all this beauty that's going on in the front of the boat. All the water, all the dolphins, if you're in the ocean, the trees, whatever. If you are so transfixed on turning around and looking at the wake, your past, your decisions, your regrets, you're going to miss everything else that's in front of you.
Or you might crash.
Let it go. Or you might crash. I mean, that's a good one. You really might crash.
But guys, I think that it's we are beings of emotion, and we're attached to things and attached to life and everything and everything that goes on it. And I think that we're a being of circumstance and situation. And sometimes they've been hard. I think everyone's gone through some real hardship in their lives. And one of the things that it was a song maybe I was listening to or something. It was some song I listened to. The opening of the song was it was a Chance the Rapper song. And he was talking about, it was off of A Big Day. And he's talking the end of the song, the guy's like, sometimes I think, how the hell did some people make it through this? How the hell did people make it through these hard times? But you have to realize there's 7 billion people on this planet. And there have been a lot of people that have gone through a lot of shit and made it out. They've wiped the shit off their face. They've cleaned themselves off and they've walked forward. And you can't sit there and again, let this shit hold you down or hold you back. We talked about controlling your anchor. Guys, we're the developers of Run Opportunities for reinforcing success for a reason. It's a self-actualization process that makes us understand the path that we can take and the moves that we can do. But it's
in self, and it is yourself that counts. And it's so funny because I've been blessed to be able to come, sort of back home and be able to talk with some of my old friends, kind of look at what they're doing at their lives and their perspectives on things. And you get to a point where you got to make a decision in life of what you want. Whatever it is, it can be riches, it can be fame, it can be just to have a family. But you have to believe in that wholeheartedly. You have to believe in what you're doing is leading you to that. And usually people who live like that, they live for that purpose. They're going to make the right decisions. They're going to work hard. They're going to dust themselves off after they fall down. But it's the ones who, like we talked about in controlling your anchor, you have no sail. You're just a boat that's sitting in the water and you're not going anywhere. There's no wind. There's no momentum. So what are you doing? Why are you just chilling when you're trying to get somewhere?
It's such a great
Dust
point.
yourself off. Put your fucking sail up and catch some wind, dude. Move forward.
Exactly. Zach, so what kind of moves are you making in your life right now? What kind of things are you doing to just I know you're talking about, but let's discuss some things that like we're working towards building our lives, things that are growing great in our lives, whatever we want to talk about. Hit us up.
So I'm gonna start out with the companies I'm trying to work with. I just started working as a carpentry apprentice for Real Restoration for Real. They're a company out of Brentwood, Tennessee, and really great guys. Like I love them. They're hands down. So if you need any outside work, any exterior stuff, fences, decking, anything like that, give them a call. I'm also working on my certs for my own fitness business. It's SoFit, and we're really going to. I'm writing a couple of things about that, Nick. I'm trying to figure out. I think I'm calling it Zero Limits. Instead of using my initials, it's going to be Zero Limit Fitness.
Well,
But it's really, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that's honestly number one. He was my Zach's been my physical trainer for the past. He did it for the first probably 3-4 months of the year, and then I finally got back with him recently. But holy shit, number one, I've been gaining weight like ridiculous. I've gained 20 pounds in the past 2 months. Yo, I put my belt on today to go eat brunch. Number one, it was fucking amazing. But number two, I put my belt on. I usually go to 4 to 3 loops in there. I had one. One.
And you got Nicholas had this goal. He wanted to be 185 pounds. What are you at right now?
I was 184 when I left Georgia.
And where were you when we started?
162.
But that's all you, bro. That is all your hard work.
But
And he changed his diet around. He trains the way he trained because he's gymnastics, man. He's very flexible, very fluent, and I had to kind of mix it up on him a little bit. More time under tension, a little bit more strength training, but we stayed towards his strengths and then doubled down on his weaknesses.
I mean, exactly. And Zach's done a real good job of doing that. And I think that it's been fantastic to see outside of the doors, we have things that we're working on too. Like it's not just the doors and we're continually building these things up. Like again, Zach just said he has his physical fitness business and he's working on those certifications as well as doing all the carpentry. I think that we have to have multiple facets of things that we're working on. And I've been playing guitar. I've been playing guitar a lot lately and I love it. I've been learning a lot. Consistently reading and doing research. One of the things that I really want to put my attention towards, which I talked about in the grindstone this morning, if you saw it, Zach.
Yes, sir.
Let me see this. Breaking out my handy-dandy notebook. Well, one of the problems I see in society today is how much garbage we create. Dude, I just watched this TED Talk. It was a TEDx Teen One blah, blah. This girl was she had zero waste for 3 years.
What?
The average U.S. citizen produces 4.5 pounds of waste a day.
And she had zero?
For 3 years. But
How?
aside from that, I don't think we can get to a society where it does that. But I think that we can honestly transform our landfills / waste facilities to be more efficient and do different things like that. I'm starting to put my attention towards that, which I'm super excited about. Maybe that someday it'll become something, but I want to do something that really helps society other than just helping people. But I want to be like helps our planet, helps society, doing something like that. And I don't know if y'all have ever heard the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It's the size of Texas, and it's off the coast of California, above Hawaii. It's fucking huge. It's fucking wild. But I think that having those multiple facets that we can continue to work on, I'm working on my physical self, I'm working on my mental self. I had a really great meditation this morning. I'm playing guitar. I'm getting my grandpa out and about. He's been walking. He's been doing great. It's just been, I think that we can consistently make moves to open doors in many aspects of our lives. And it's very, very interesting.
And Nick, man, you've also been really, if you guys need any sort of video editing done, this man has fucking put in some work. He's gotten so much better. He's been teaching me stuff. He's like, bro, you got to check this video out. This is how you do this, and this, how you flip the video, you slow it down, then you crop it here, and here. Like, if you need any video editing done or you just want to learn some video editing, give this guy a holler. He got you. He's got
One of the things too is aside from hyping each other up, one of the things that we've been working on through the doors is we want to become a multimedia brand company as well as just producing. Like we're going to produce a podcast. We want to eventually speak at conferences, and luckily we have our first event coming up April 29th. Will be my buddy Darian's grand opening for a store. That's really exciting. But we're putting our attention into doing like to building ourselves up as well as others. And I've produced content. We've both produced content for multiple different companies, and we're trying to build almost a repertoire of people we can continue to help. For like that's what we enjoy doing though. Like that's something we enjoy doing. And I know that I'm not professional. I'm a communication professional, a communication expert. But when it comes into editing, photo taking, different things like that in the media, that's where I'm really putting my attention towards at the moment. And I've been seeing progress. And one of the great things is me and Zach consistently talk about how we can better it or what needs to change or what different aspects, viewpoints we can do to better that.
Yeah, we've really been moving forward on that. And like you said, we're trying to make this a media company. And it just so happens, like I said, I moved home. Nick was on vacation. We had literally 4 companies, which they're starter companies, don't get us wrong, but 4 companies come underneath us within a week's time. And, Nick and I are both working side by side, doing the media and stuff like that. We're trying to work on developing their social media and developing their audience. And it's something that is a little bit outside of our comfort zone. But what did we say in
Yeah,
you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, man.
well,
and I feel like
how you build
definitely
stuff.
Yes, sir.
I think that a great point to that is like I love outreaching. I love community. I love building people. We're talking with Peter Duncan, helping him do some videos through Invictus Media, which is his company he's building. Fantastic guy, and he's doing some really interesting stuff right now. Zach's doing his one for your who's the one doing the wood burning?
Oh, so it's my mom's husband, and he does these things where he takes these soldering kits, man, and he takes cedar and he wood burns pictures in there. He's done sports team, Disney characters. He did me this big Bama elephant, man, and it says Bama across, and it's just all wood grain. It's stained. It's so nice. And it's something that's outside the box that you don't see every day. So I'm helping him try to build that from the ground up. And it's been an experience on its own.
Yeah. And you're starting to work with your company a little bit to do that. And I think that one of the interesting things is, again, the more we outreach and communicate with other individuals, the more we learn. I talked to Tony Guerra with Spill the Cheer, and he's a fantastic podcast right now, and he's been interviewing so many people, and he's been blowing up. He's doing great. And we had a really great conversation about the back and forth about what podcasts have and what they can do and what we can keep developing and the future between. And that's what's great, again, is community. And I think that the more that we realize what we're doing is that we continue to build a community around this. Dustin Velasquez from Moorhead, he's a fantastic guy. He's moving to, I believe he's moving to Nevada, but he's a fantastic guy, and he's been doing some really interesting things with the mental capacity, mental health and cheerleading right now. And he's been doing some really interesting things that we're going to be working on together. And I think that the more you continue to outreach, the more you continue to help others solely because that's what you want to do, the bigger your circle is going to create. And I think that it's honestly building opportunities for us. Like I've honestly seen a huge amount of opportunity that can be had in the future for what we're doing.
Yes, sir.
But
and
go
ahead, Nick.
No, you're fine.
Well, I was just going to say, man, it's crazy because when you change your thought processes from what's in it for me or what can I gain from this to how can I serve, how can I help these people, how can I, use what I know in order to help them, you come from that place of servitude, man, you just literally start to develop a different perspective. And it's like when you stop chasing things, it comes back to you. You've got to give to receive.
Well, I think another great point is I think it's in the change your thoughts, change your mind, change your life, change your thoughts, change your life. Yeah. By Wayne Dyer again, he talks about the individual that seeks out attention is the one that gets it the least. That's the same thing again, is if you're trying to seek greatness solely for you, it's not going to happen. You have to. We live in a society today where it's a given. It's not a give and take world. It's a win-win lifestyle.
Yep.
Peter Duncan just brought out the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which I've read as well. Well, win-win was one of the fantastic qualities that it talks about. Is that at the end of the day, the way to continually build yourself is to build connections to help someone else win and help yourself win at the same time. I'm not going to go out there and try to like burden someone or screw them over, because at the end of the day, I want a clean head. I want a clean slate, and I want to keep moving forward upon the successes I have. And if I can build those relationships, if I can help someone else, damn right I'm going to do it.
Yep. And that's what it matters, man. Like that's really all that matters, is just getting to a point where you are content. Because when you're content, you can eventually be able to develop more and more and more. But if you're constantly chasing money, constantly chasing women or boys, I don't know, whatever you like, or you're just constantly chasing fame, it avoids you. It avoids you. I talked to my dad about this today. My dad has been playing music for over 30 years, and he's been so close to making it so many different times. But my dad is also one of the best carpenters that I've ever came across. And one of the things that he told me in his wisdom, because he's actually finally starting a arts construction company, which will be something else that the Doors can do. He was telling me, had I stopped and focused on what I knew I was good at and been able to develop that, I would have had more time at this point to put into my music, to put into the things I want most. But I made the wrong decisions. I did the wrong things. He said, and now, I'm figuring it out. But it's all a big process, man. It's all a journey. You're in process of doing great things. You just have to realize that. You have to have faith in it.
What's so interesting about what you said is that you said you're talking about making wrong decisions, and I think that there's a apparent duality in that, because you think like, at the time you think it's right, but then it ends up being something wrong, but it's not a wrong decision at the same time. You just think you could have been better off doing different things. And luckily, we're beings of the present. And I know your dad, and he's a fantastically happy guy, and he's very, very well off in his success and the things that he's doing, and his happiness he has, and the relationships he has with his family. So it's so interesting to see those viewpoints as well, because it's inherently in everyone's life. There's decisions that I wish I could take back, but at the same time, I am who I am because of it. And
you can't have regrets, man. You can't. Because when you do, that decision was made and it's done. You can't get it back. So don't spend your energy, don't spend your time wasting, because that's all we have, man. That's all we have is time.
I mean, that's what
some of us work, others.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's one of the things that I've come to realize over this longer break about just looking inwards is I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to continue to really have to learn and struggle to become something great. And it's hard. It's going to be hard. But if I live in that shithole of suffering and struggle and strife, and I continue to better myself through the failures that I have, I'm going to come out fucking gleaming. That shit's going to be good for my face. I ain't going to have zits or nothing.
It's so funny that you say that, Nick, because I've been talking to people about, because I go around, they're like, how old are you? 22, 23? I'm like, I'm about to turn 28. I'm getting up there. They're like, I would never guess that. Would never guessed. And they're like, well, how do you stay in shape? Like, what do you do? I said, for one, it's okay to go out and have fun, have a few drinks. If you like to smoke, smoke, whatever you want to do. But you got to have balance in those things. You got to drink a lot of water, and you can't slow down. You've got to continue to exercise. You've got to continue to allow your body to move. Nick, what happens to water when it stops? The movement.
Becomes stagnant, stale.
And a stagnant water, does it taste good?
Ends up getting all bacteria-y.
Right. But if it's flowing, what happens then?
Well, number one, it's just going to stay in motion. It's going to keep going. It's going to be healthier. But, yeah.
So think about that though. Your body's very similar. If we get stagnant, we get stuck in our ways, we stay still. We don't grow. We grow old, we get gray hair, we become like rugged like a corpse, rigid. But if we stay flexible, we stay fluent, we keep doing things that are bettering ourselves, like reading, watching good material, not watching this trash TV that's filling your head with all these things that you should go be a Kardashian, or you should go be some fuck boy. You know, just think about the things that you want to be in life or you want to accomplish and try to live in alignment with that. And I think this is something that me and Nicholas both, like, we're back and forth on it. We talk constantly, like, bro, this decision right here that I'm making right now, like, am I living in alignment with it? And we'll go back and forth with each other about it. And I think it's really great. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger said it's always good to have a workout partner. And me and Nick, for those that watch a little bit of anime, like, you know, Naruto, Kakashi and Guy, they're like eternal rivals. They're always pushing each other, always challenging them to something. And I think you need somebody like that in your life, man. I think you do. You have to.
Well, you have to have friends that challenge you, and I think that, like, for the last, like, overwhelming topic we can jump into for the rest for this, because we don't want to get too long, but one of the things that's inherent about the conversation we've talked about this whole time is that take a look inside yourself, and this is what we do often. I take a look inside myself, and I really think about the things that I'm doing. I really think about the moves that I'm making. Luckily, I have my pad and pen all the time. I'm about to start journaling as well. But I allow myself to organize my thoughts, my thinking, and I put it down on paper so I can really see it physically in existence. And I see the things that I want to make moves on. Okay, I want to continue to build the doors. I want to see what I can do to possibly build that up. I have some interesting things that we're going to go into doing that. I'm about to start interviewing some really interesting people. We're about to do we're working on this media. Okay, what do I need to do again? I need to make sure I'm staying physically fit. I need to make sure I'm outreaching to individuals, family, the ones that I care about. Okay, financial. And by writing these things down and organizing my thoughts and putting it on there, it's physically there, and I can make moves upon it, or I can choose to make those actions. And I've been really, really trying to do that every morning. I get up every morning. Me and Zach do this pretty often. I get up every morning. I make my bed number one. Listen,
Yep.
William McRaven, okay? Navy Admiral William McRaven, go check out his book. It's called Make Your Bed. Okay? If you do one task in the morning, you can accomplish any task during the day. Make my bed every morning. I get up, I have a cup of coffee, or I sit there and write down 5 ideas. I now have over 30, 40 ideas just sitting in my notebook to move upon, and I'm actually moving upon one that I was doing today. And then I watch something and I learn something in the morning. But I set up this routine so I can continually make moves upon the things that I want to. And I know I just rambled on a lot, but the important thing is I wanted to show you and prove to you the things that I'm doing to better myself. Because again, we can sit here and preach it all day, but if we're not living it, you aren't going to give a fuck. I'm living it. I'm trying to literally build a community around the idea of that. We're going to switch the narrative. You can be successful. You can be happy in the life you live. Rant over.
You know, and you said something to me, and I'm gonna end this with a little prayer for you guys. But Nick said something to me the other day, because I was saying, you know, I really want my life to be like a new adventure every day. And he said, we just have to live through our experiences. I'm gonna say that again. We just have to live through our experiences. And dude, when you said that, that resonated with me so hard. So hard. But guys, it's all about making the most out of your opportunities. And you know, I know there's times where you get down. I know there's times you're frustrated, or there's times where you're happy as can be. And this prayer that I'm about to read to you, this is something I went back to every day. I would read this every single morning. I went when I was on my way to work, before I went to the gym, and this just made me so grounded because it's so awesome. Here we go. Lord, make me a channel of thy peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love, that where there is wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness, that where there is discord, I may bring harmony, that where there is error, I may bring truth, that where there is doubt, I may bring faith. That where there is despair, I may bring hope. That where there are shadows, I may bring light. That where there is sadness, I may bring joy. Lord, grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to understand than to be understood, to love than to be loved. For it is by self-forgetting that one finds. It is by forgiving that one is forgiven. And it is in dying that one awakens to eternal life. Amen.
Did you memorize that?
Maybe just a little bit. Maybe just a little bit.
Hey,
I messed up on a little bit.
no. But that's honestly, like, in retrospect, that's a fantastic quote to think about. I think, again, spreading love is the most important thing you can do, guys. Hands down.
And it was one of those things I tried to mirror my life. And you guys out there, remember, if you need anything, if you just want to chit chat, the Doors is here. We're the developers of our own opportunities, reinforcing success. And you are too. You are blessed. You are happy. You are proud. And most of all, you're capable. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.